Welcome back, everyone. It's just another day in the life as a military wife, and it has been 2 weeks. I had expected to take 1 week off because of some family stuff, and Murphy's Law of military life, things do not go as planned, or just life in general, things do not always go as planned, so it ended up being 2 weeks. That said, this week I want to talk a little bit about the Blue Star Museum program and what that entails and why it exists, as well as the Sandhurst competition at West Point and how it went, largely because my alma mater was involved. I am your host, Sam Wolf, and you are listening to Life of a Military Wife. Okay, so let's dig on into this. The Blue Star Museum project, or whatever, anyway, that is run by the NEA, the National Endowment for the Arts, which is a federal program. Actually, it uses taxpayer money, just so you know. What it does is it allows for free admission to museums, zoos, botanical gardens, lots of different places for military families. But it is a limited number of locations and organizations that receive this assistance to allow military families to go free. And it changes every year. And sometimes there's a lot of money in the fund, and sometimes there's not a lot of money in the fund. And again, like I said, participation varies from year to year. So it's been an interesting thing as we've been a military family now for quite a while. We have kept an eye on it, and sometimes there's places my kids are interested in, sometimes there isn't. Sometimes we'll be going on a family vacation and we'll find out of a location on our way that is part of the program that year. We did a road trip with family years and years ago, and we were driving through Denver, and there was the Natural History Museum in Denver was on the list that year. And so we decided to stay the night in Denver and hit that with the kids to kind of break up the road trip. And it was a lot of fun. It was a little exhausting just because I'm not a huge fan of road trips. And so for me, it was a little exhausting, but it was great for the kids to just have time to stretch their legs and get energy out. So it ended up being really a worthwhile stop in the long run. But I was looking at this year's list and I got really excited because, again, the Denver Museum of Natural History, I think I'm saying that one right. Let me look. I'll look it up as I'm going on through some of the other ones. But anyway, it was back on the list. Other ones that I've been to before, I knew the Botanical Gardens in DC are on this year's list. There's just some really great ones. And I will put the website for the Blue Star Museums in the description below, just because I know that it makes it easier when I'm talking about these things. Although you could really Google it, it would show up really easily. But like I said, I'm double checking I've got the museum right for that one. It was, well, yeah, so there's the Denver Museum of Art, which has got a really great Monet exhibit, interactive Monet exhibit going on right now. The Denver Museum of Nature and Science, which has got a really great interactive area for kids, as well as a really great Egypt section and some really great dinosaurs section. My kids love dinosaurs. I mean, dinosaurs are just a thing. So that's one we're interested in. We've got family in Utah. So I was looking at what was available in Utah, and what's jumped out to me, and I actually checked out the website, was in Utah, the Treehouse Children's Museum in Ogden is on the list this year. And oh my goodness, I was checking out their website and I am super jealous. I actually don't think we're going to be able plans have changed for our summer, and I don't think we're going to be able to get the kids there. So that is a bummer. But if you are in the Ogden area and you are military, go check out the Treehouse Children's Museum. And then, as I was saying before, there's some in Washington, D.C. There's all over the United States. Basically, every state and plus some, even American Samoa is listed on this. But yeah, Washington, D.C., the one that I thought was interesting is the National Museum of American Jewish Military History is on that list. And the United States Botanic Garden is also on the list this year. And the Botanic Garden, I've heard, is gorgeous. So, I mean, it's a great outdoor thing to do come summer. And then I saw the ones in Arizona. Again, we've spent time in Arizona, so I'm familiar with some of these locations as well. But there's some that I'm not familiar with that I really kind of want to check out. Arizona Railway Museum, I've never been to, but again, kids are into trains. My kids are really into, just the typical kid things. I've been to, where's the other one? Herd Museum, that's got some really good stuff. The Arizona Science Center in Phoenix, yeah, that's the one I was looking for. Arizona Science Center in Phoenix is huge. It is a really, really massive museum, and it has a ton of really amazing stuff. A lot of it is incredibly interactive for the kids. It is just really, really great. So that one, if you're in that area, is a good one. The Pueblo Grande Museum, this one is near and dear to my heart because I am a total archaeology nerd. I love archaeology. And the Pueblo Grande Museum, a lot of people don't realize, is basically a museum built around an archaeology site in the Phoenix area. When they were going to expand Sky Harbor, they have to investigate the areas to make sure that there's no Native American burials or archaeological significance there. And they found something as they were going to expand the runways. So this is right next to the airport. But anyway, they found something, and so they started the dig, and it was actually one of the largest archaeological digs in a metropolitan area, like in the center of a city. And it was the largest in the United States. It was one of the largest in the world at the time. It's no longer an active archaeological dig. But they found a lot of really cool stuff, and you can actually walk through the dig site on a designated path, of course. But you can walk through the dig site, the archaeological dig site, as well as there's an interactive area for kids and just different stuff. And I'm, maybe if you're not into archaeology, it's not that big of a deal for you, but I really love that place. So that's my little plug for there. But there is a lot. That's the Pueblo Grande Museum in Phoenix, and it's on the list this year. The Arizona Military Museum is also on the list. I've never been there, but that is one I'm interested in checking out. But yeah, Arizona has got a lot more this year than they typically have in the past. I'm not sure why Arizona seems to be, but California also had a really huge list. I was going through California's and I was like, dang. So if you're in California this year, you really should check out wherever you're going to be and see if there's a museum nearby that you can hit up. I love taking my kids to museums. I like museums, art galleries, all those things in general. I grew up with my mom taking me there. My mom was a teacher, and that was just what we did. I think I have been to far more museums and art galleries than amusement parks in my life. And I don't think it has been a bad thing. I have genuinely loved it. So that is me. But there's some stuff in Tucson. There's stuff all over Arizona. There's some stuff up in Sedona if you're in the mountains. So yeah, it just depends on where you're at and where you're going to be. I checked out the list because, again, we've been in Kentucky and Tennessee. The lists for Kentucky and Tennessee were not as extensive this year as they were. So if I feel like it rotates through. Arizona has a ton this year. California usually has a good amount just because it's California. It's pretty big. But other than previous years, Kentucky and Tennessee have had a lot more. I feel like they've had less this year. Also, it feels like DC has less this year. So you have to check it out every year. But the Shaker Village is in Kentucky is a place we never got to. We drove past it on road trips several times. And I always thought, oh, we should go there. That would be fun. Because the Shaker Village in Pleasant Hill is near Hardsboro or whatever. It is one of the last of its kind. And that is a huge, very unique part of American history, American religious history especially. And so that was something that I really had wanted to take my family and my kids to, and we just never got around to it. So it's on the list this year. If you are in Kentucky, I would suggest checking it out. Just there's different stuff. We checked out Maryland. I looked at the list on Maryland because, again, we've spent some time in Maryland. And the one that I thought was kind of hysterical. Okay, fine. It's just my sense of humor. We play a lot of Monopoly in my family, too. Board games are big. The B.O. Railroad Museum, which is Baltimore to, I don't remember, Railroad is on the list this year, as well as the Ratcliffe House, which that's in Berlin. But there's some gardens, there's museums and mansions and all sorts of stuff on there. So I would go check it out. I've lived in Jersey, not as a military family, but I've lived in Jersey. So I was looking at the list on what Jersey had. I looked at what New Mexico had too, because we've got some friends there. And New Mexico did not have much this year, and Jersey had some, but not a ton. Or at least not a ton that I'm familiar with or know of. So, again, I couldn't give you a whole lot on those ones. But again, check it out. I will say that Summers Point, I did live in that area, and the Atlantic County Historical Society. There's a lighthouse in that area. There is some interesting history in that area, so that would be worth going and checking out. In Summersville, there's the Wallace House, an Old Dutch personage state historic site. And in Trenton, New Jersey, they do have the New Jersey State Museum there. And I mean, the Battle of Trenton and Princeton was pretty pivotal, just slightly significant in the Revolutionary War. So you never know what you're going to find in those places. I've never been to that museum. I was lucky enough when I lived in the Princeton area to know a history professor at Princeton. And he one day walked my friends and I around campus, showed us around, and talked about the Battle of Princeton that took place on Princeton campus. So that was really awesome. That you can just walk around and see, but you need someone to know who knows the history, or, do your research yourself. Maybe that would be a fun thing. Walk your kids around Princeton and show them the cannon marks on some of the buildings from the battle. That would be kind of fun. I haven't checked out Texas. I'm actually going to pull up Texas really quick while I'm talking on this, just to see what Texas has. Again, every state, it changes from one year to another. Yeah, Texas has a decent amount this year. It's got more than one page worth. So I know there are quite a few military installations in Texas. So if you are in one of those, go ahead, check out what you've got nearby you. There's some in Amarillo. There's quite a few in Austin. But yeah, I would check those out. Actually, yeah, it's so long that you get to the C's by the end of the first page. And then just because Hawaii is fun, and I'm totally hooked on Hawaii after my husband and I were able to go finally for our really, really late honeymoon / 11th anniversary, and I'm not even sure I've talked about that. But anyway, I've been totally huge on Hawaii ever since then. There are 4 things in Hawaii too, so most of them are in Honolulu: the Hawaii State Art Museum and the Honolulu Museum of Art, and then the Obama Hawaiian African Museum. So yeah, there's stuff in every state. There's even stuff like American Samoa is listed. Yeah, of course, DC is listed. Northern Marine Islands is an option. Puerto Rico is on the list. The United States Minor Outlying Islands is one. U.S. Virgin Islands. I wonder what's on U.S. Virgin Islands. I'm going to check that out for you guys right now because I can do that. Yeah, there is one. The Virgin Islands Children Museum in St. Thomas. So I don't know who's going to St. Thomas this summer, but dude, if you are, I wish I could join you because I've heard it's beautiful. But if you happen to be going to the U.S. Virgin Islands in St. Thomas, you can take your kids to the Children's Museum if you're a military family for free. So, yeah, Blue Star Museums, again, like I said, it changes every year. And sometimes there's some really great ones that we're totally interested in. And then there's some that I honestly am not as familiar with, or they're just not, like mining. Maybe I'm a party pooper, but I'm just not super thrilled to take little kids to a mining museum. Maybe it would work out better than I think. Who knows? I don't know. That's just me. So we're going to keep this episode a little bit on the shorter side just because, again, like I said, there's been a lot going on in the background with life, the universe, and everything in regards to family things. And so I just wanted to keep this a little bit more straightforward and not as verbose. But you know me, I talk a lot. So we'll see if the not verbose thing works out. So the other thing I wanted to cover, and this one is a little late. I'm just going to be completely level with you. I'd never heard of the Sandhurst competition at West Point before, this year. Evidently, it's a thing. It's been a thing for a while. I probably will cover it next year just because I really enjoyed what I ended up watching and all of that. I like competitions. I think they're fun. But really the reason why I know it exists is because my alma mater placed 5th. Super proud. So Brigham Young University placed 5th at the BYU University's ROTC Ranger Unit, I believe. It was a team of 9. Placed 5th at the competition. It's an international competition. It didn't start off that way. Originally, I believe it was just amongst Sandhurst students. Or sorry, not Sandhurst. Oh my gosh. Sandhurst is in England, and I know that, people. West Point. It was originally among West Point students. The reason why it was named Sandhurst, though, is after the British establishment. I don't know why they named it after the British military school, but they chose to, so yeah. But anyway, the Sandhurst competition now is an international competition. It's no longer just West Point students participating. There's ROTC students from across the nation that participate, as well as international teams as well. All right, and this year, Canada, Australia, Mexico, Italy, Greece, all participated. I know there were more countries that participated than just those, but those are the ones I know because there was stuff that happened in regards to those. So yeah, originally I found out about it because, again, BYU, yay, go Cougars. They got 5th place. Super proud, again, of my BYU peeps, especially the ROTC, because when I was at BYU, I was friends with the ROTC kids. Like, I was not ROTC. That's just wasn't my, path. But I was friends with a lot of the ROTC peeps. And so, soft spot in my heart for BYU ROTC, Brigham Young University. Yep. But anyway, there was a lot that went on this year. The Greek team ended up getting the Sharpshooter Award. There was a soldier, I'm pretty sure, but they weren't clear about it, that got sick during the Ruck March, and the Italian team and another team helped triage and take care of them. They are required, each team is required to have at least one female competitor on the team, because most all of these militaries allow females, so they want a female on the team. And most of the teams actually have 2 women competitors on the team, probably because injuries do happen and they have to always have one, so you probably want to back up. But anyway, that is just, I learned a lot about it. You can go, they have a YouTube coverage. The cadet that they had doing the banquet announcement has one of the best radio voices I have heard in a long time. I mean, that guy has a future as an announcer. He's probably a really good Army cadet too, but dang, he has got a really good announcer voice. He just sounds like one of those professional, like, sports announcers or something. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. That's all I've got for you this week. Putting together some interesting things for the summer, and still working on the website, still working on a few things. Looking like Maria Strange and I will be doing another class come fall. Well, more like September. So look forward to all of that stuff. I hope you have a great Memorial weekend. And this is your host, Sam Wolf, and you're listening to Life of a Military Wife.